Hi kids, today we are going to view this beautiful project done by Sebastian, Max, Tiago and Julia. They put a lot of work on this and it's really good. They are awesome too. I hope you guys enjoy. Mr. Hall.
The Industrial Revolution was extremely vital to the advancement of humanism. Some of its major innovations were the invention of the steel mill, the assembly line, the harvesting of petroleum, the revolution of the light bulb, and many more. Some of the most important people involved in this revolution were Henry Ford, James Watt, Thomas Edison, and John Rockefeller. Without having the Industrial Revolution, the world today will not be as it seems. We will not have mass production of goods, worldwide lighting, and the oil business would not be as advanced.
The machines were invented for the purpose of saving human labor time. One was the steam engine that was built into England during the 18th century. Thanks to this machine, production of goods was higher and profits also increased. Several businesses, then they began to invest in industries. In the city, with large chimneys spewing smoke, they represented development. And with so much progress, the factories began to spread across England, bringing several changes. This period is called by historians of the Industrial Revolution, and it started in England. The England bourgeoisie was very rich, and for many years continued to expand its business in several ways. Financing pirate attacks, trafficking slaves, lending money at interest, paying low salary to artisans working in manufacturing, winning wars, trading, and imposing treaty to weaker countries. The British gave so much importance to trade. The more they trade, the greater the competition. Where there is trade, there is competition, and to end it, had to lower prices. Thus, the English bourgeoisie began to improve its machinery and investing in industries. Several peasants were working in factories and formed a new social class, the proletariat. Industrial development ruined artisans because the products were made more quickly in factories. The appreciation of science, individual freedom, and the belief in progress encouraged the men to invent machines.
The invention of the steam machine was probably one of the most important things in their era. Thomas Newcomen invented the steam machine. With the invention of the steam machine, a lot of things changed. It was easier to produce all kinds of materials like cloth. With that, the job possibilities completely changed. If we take the cloth example again, people who were making clothes were replaced by steam machines. But with that, there were also new jobs like looking after steam machines or repairing them. Samuel Morse invented the telegraph. He made it possible to send notes quickly and over in that time long range. The telegraph used a wire to send notes. The invention of the spinning jenny. With the invention of the spinning jenny, the textile industry completely changed. The spinning jenny spinned more than only one pile of yarn. That made it easier and faster to spin. Henry Bessemer invented a method to make steel out of iron. It was already known that you can make the strong and more durable steel out of iron, but Henry Bessemer invented a method how to make steel faster and better. With that method, a lot of things changed. For example, it was easier to build houses. James Watt was born 1936 in Scotland. He was a Scottish mathematician and engineer. He repaired a steam machine from Thomas Newcomen, and while that he thought about how to improve this machine. In 1774 he started producing his improved steam machine. Henry Bessemer. Henry Bessemer was born 1813 in England. He invented a method to make steel out of iron. With this method you could produce 30 tons of steel in 30 minutes. Henry Ford. Henry Ford was born 1816 in Michigan. He didn't invent the automobile and not the assembly line, but he transformed this to Henry Ford. Henry Ford was born 1816 in Michigan. He didn't invent the automobile and not the assembly line, but he transformed this to invention, and he was the first one who could produce cars cheap and fast. Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison was born 1846 in Ohio. He invented a lot of important machines and inventions. He improved the telephone and made his phonograph. He made a better light bulb, and he was the first one who put it in a lamp. He also invented motion pictures. This led to the invention of the video camera. But probably the most important invention for The future was the invention of a free-wire system which could distribute heat and electric power.
Adam Smith, Scottish thinker, wrote in 1776 the book The Wealth of Nations. In this work, which is considered the founding work of economics, Smith claims that individualism is good for the whole society. For him, the state should interfere as little as possible in the economy. Adam Smith also considered that the activities involving human labor are important, and that the industry expands the division of labor increases productivity, that is, each must specialize in one task to work more income. The Industrial Revolution brought wealth in the bourgeois. However, the workers lived in misery. Many women and children worked hard and earned very little. Working hours ranged from 14 to 16 hours per day for women and 10 to 12 hours a day for children. While the bourgeois gathered in large parties to celebrate the profits, the workers came to the conclusion that they would have to start fighting for their rights. The coal Luddism was one of the first forms of workers' struggle. The Luddite movement was formed by groups of workers who invaded the factory and smashed the machines. The Luddites achieved some victories. For example, some employers have not reduced wages for fear of a rebellion. Besides the painfulness, there were other workers' organizations and trade unions and strikers.
Without the Industrial Revolution, the world today would not look how it looks. For once, with Henry Ford's invention of the assembly line, he sped up the production of most goods, mainly mechanical and electronic. By having several people build something in a step-by-step, he was able to build his famous T-model car in an extremely large scale. Another instance is John D. Rockefeller's own revolution of the oil industry. He was one of the first people to find and drill oil in the United States and was able to innovate the business by using new equipment. Another instance is James Watt, who helped make better the steam engine, which was the first engine used in trains and boats. With these bright people that took part in these innovations, the world took a great step forward. Without these people, the world would have still been pretty behind. The assembly line would not have existed, slowing down the production of goods, which would mean less goods to bring to the world. Also, the oil industry would have still been behind. And although we would have probably had more oil in reserves, which is good, we would have not had the resources to have been as advanced as we are now. Finally, without James Watt's perfection of the steam engine, vehicles would have been less developed, not allowing for transportation to happen as it does now. Without trains and boats, it would have been much harder to get around.
Oh my god, this video is perfect.
I'm going to put this in the end.
Bro.